Welcome to all for this NIMI online video session. Today this lesson is different levels of learning domain according to Bloom's taxonomy and its correlation with NSQF. Under this lesson, you are going to learn about the concept of taxonomy of educational objectives and the features and necessity of Bloom's taxonomy for education, and the three learning domains under levels. Then definition of levels of each domain with examples. Then how to correlate the learning domains of Bloom's taxonomy with NSQF. First, you must know what is the meanings of taxonomy. Taxonomy is the process of learning and classifying the objectives or some things like animals and plants according to their similarities and their differentiation. That means, suppose so many varieties of animals and plants are there. Now they are classifying according to their similarities and difference. They are classifying the animals and plants. This is called a taxonomy. So taxonomy is not only for classifying animals and plants. This taxonomy is also classifies the instructional objectives. Learning instructional objectives also they are classifying into lower to higher level like this with some differences. So many taxonomies are there, but one of the most helpful taxonomy is Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy is the set of three hierarchical models according to their complexity and simplicity for the learning, educational learning objectives. There are three domains. First domain is cognitive domain, that is based on the knowledge with 6 levels. Next, second domain is affective domain. It based on the attitudinal, that is emotional based domain, which consists of 5 levels. Last one, third domain is called psychomotor domain. Psychomotor domain consists of, that is based on the skill, and consists of 6 levels. During 1948, Convention of American Psychological Committee, that is association, headed by the Mr. Benjamin Bloom and his friend Krath Ohi, they formed this cognitive domain with 6 levels. Then after all discussion, everything, then they framed Bloom's taxonomy as in 1956. So this taxonomy provides for teacher, the students climbs from lower level to higher level as a staircase. There are 6 levels are there in cognitive domain. Lowest level and highest levels are there. Lowest levels are knowledge, comprehension and application. Then in highest level, analyzing, synthesis and evaluate. Suppose if a student is functioning in application level, means he must be mastered in previous levels like knowledge and comprehension. Like this, he has to go lower to higher levels. Already we have discussed about the old version of the Bloom's taxonomy in cognitive domain. Now, after some time, they have revised the Bloom's taxonomy in cognitive level. Former student of Bloom's, Mr. Lovin Anderson and Krath Ohi, that group has revised and finalized the existing domain, that is cognitive domain. Some changes they made. From this, some changes means that is in learning, teaching and training. And also in 3 categories they changed terminology changes, then structural changes, then third one is emphasis changes. These 3 categories they changed one by one, how they have changed and revised this Bloom taxonomy from old you will see. Under these terminal changes, basically Bloom's 6 major categories were changed from noun to verb forms. Additionally, the lowest level of the original knowledge was renamed as remembering. Finally, comprehension and synthesis were renamed as understanding and creating. These are the changes they have made in under the terminology changes. Before going to next changes, we will define about each levels of revised Bloom's taxonomy. First, remembering. That means recalling relevant knowledge from long-term memory. That is, remembering means recalling what are the facts which you have learned from this. So only recalling from your memory, that is remembering stage, remembering level, that is lower level. Then understanding. Understanding means constructing meaning from oral, written and graphic messages, as well as classifying and summarizing and comparing. That means understanding means what you have remembered or recalled. From this you have to construct a meaningful sentences like this. That means understanding. Then applying. Applying means carrying out the procedure to execute the work or executing some or implementing. What you have learned from the 2 levels, that is remembering and understanding, you have to apply and you have to execute or implementing. That level is applying level. Next, 4th level is analyzing. How to analyze? Analyze means breaking the materials into constituents or parts, breaking the materials into several parts and purposes and then organizing them. First you have to break into parts, then you have to organize in correct form. That is analyzing. You are analyzing the facts, that is knowledge or understanding and applying. Then evaluating level. In evaluating means making judgment. That is evaluating. Making judgment based on some criteria, standards or through checking. That is evaluating level. What you have learned or what you have taught, they taught teachers, that should be evaluated. That means making judgment based on the criteria. Then creating. This is the highest level. So putting elements together to form a functional whole or reorganizing the elements into a new pattern. That means already you have mastered in 5 levels. Highest level is the creating. You have to create something. That means you have to make one new pattern like this. This is creating level. These are the levels of Bloom's taxonomy after revising. Under these structural changes, taxonomy has one-dimensional form. Revised taxonomy has two-dimensional form. One form is knowledge dimension, another form is cognitive domains level of identities. Third changes is under the emphasis. That means Bloom's himself recognized his taxonomy was used and applied by, implemented by so many categories, several number of groups. Then he has revised and modified only as a movement tool which is used only for educational purpose, educational objectives for the teachers. This is under the embassy changes. These are the three main categories of changes made in revised Bloom's taxonomy. What is the necessity of Bloom's taxonomy? How in learning process they are using, we will see. For measuring students' ability accurately, teachers requires classification of levels of intellectual, behavior and important in learning. So, for measuring the students' ability accurately, teachers needs some classification levels according to their skills and knowledge what they have acquired. For this purpose, it is very much useful for the teachers. Bloom's taxonomy provides measurement of emerging prospective learning, teaching and technology tool. These tools are used for thinking. So, teacher for teaching purpose, this Bloom taxonomy provides as a thinking tool for prospective learning, teaching and training or technology. Then the revised Bloom taxonomy provides more powerful tool to fit teachers' needs. It provides a clear visual representation of the alignment between standard educational goals, objectives, products and activity. Then teachers must have a plan about how to spend their classroom time with clear alignment of education objectives with local, state, national standards of nursery. That means today's teachers must plan for his timing, how to spend the time in classroom in useful way. For this purpose, this Bloom taxonomy is very much useful. These are some necessity of Bloom's taxonomy. Now, we will see about the list of levels of three domains. First, cognitive domains levels, then affective domains levels, then psychomotor domains level. One by one, we will see what are the levels in the three domains. Old version levels of cognitive domain: knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, evaluation. Next, revised Bloom's taxonomy levels from lower to higher: remembering, understand, apply, analysis, evaluate and create. Then second, affective domains. The list of affective domain levels are receiving, responding, valuing, organizing and characterizing. Then last, skill based domain, psychomotor domains levels are perception, guided response, mechanism, complex overt response, adoption and origination. These are the list of levels of three domains. Now we will define the levels of affective domain, that is second domain of Bloom's taxonomy is affective domain based on the emotional or attitudinal domain. So it consists of 5 levels. First level is receiving. The lowest level, this is the lowest level. The student pays attention. Without this level, no learning can occur. Receiving is about the student's memory and recognition. So without this level, student cannot learn anything. That is the first level, that is lowest level of the affective domain. Second level is responding. The student actively participates in the learning process not only by attending the stimulator, he also reacts to it. So in this level, responding level means if the students learn something, he has to react according to his learning. That is the responding level, second level. Third level is valuing. the students associates value or some values to the knowledge they required. Value level defines the students associating how they are reacting for the what they learned. That is the valuing level. Then fourth level is organizing. The student can put together different values, information and ideas and can accommodate them within its own scheme, and also he can compare. In this organizing level, he has to put together all the what he has learned. That is the main point of this level. Then last level of the affective domain is the characterizing. At this level, he has to build abstract knowledge. He has to build his knowledge. That is the last level of characterizing. These are the levels of affective domains. So far, we have defined the levels of Bloom Taxonomy, cognitive domains levels and affective domains level. Now, we are going to define the levels of third domain, psychomotor domains levels. What is perception level? Perception level describes the sensing organs. By sensing organs, if you are motivated to do any performance, that is perception. We can give one example. Adjust a heat of the stove to correct temperature by smelling or tasting the food. That means, suppose if more heat, the food may be overheated and the smell will be nasty smell, if irritated smell we can get. At that time what we will feel? So more heat, so we have to adjust the heat for the correct temperature. So that is the perception level. Next level is guided response. That means somebody has to guide us to do any performance work or any skill. That is called guided response skill. We can give an example. Follow the instruction. By somebody's instruction, we have to do the model. If any model we have to do, not only ourselves we cannot do, by some instruction we have to do. That is called guided response level. Third level is mechanism. It is the intermediate stage in learning a complex skills. Already learned responses have become habitual or practice, and movement can be performed with same confidence and proficiency. This is what already we have learned some skills that we have to practice and habitual. It will become a habitual. So then it is called as a mechanism level. We can give an example. Use a personal computer. When we are using a personal computer means already what are the response we have learned we are using to operate the computer. That is the mechanism level. Then complex overt response. In complex overt response, the skillful performance of motor activity that involves complex movement patterns. That category includes performing without hesitation and automatic performance. That means already we use computer. After that, if we want to use the computer accurately with more accuracy, without hesitation and also automatic performance we have to do. That is called somewhat similar to the mechanism level, but it is somewhat with the complex overt response. Adaptation. Skills are well developed and the individual can modify movement patterns to special requirements. That means we can give us example, modify instruction to need the requirements. This is the example for the adaptation. We can do any work already we have learned, from this we have performed with some modification. If we do some work with modification, that is called adaptation. We are adopting some response, that is called fifth level of the psychomotor domain. The last level is origination, creating new movement pattern to fit a particular situation, a specific problem. Learning outcome, emphasize creativity based upon highly developed skill. So this is the origination, last skill, creating a movement or new pattern. That is, we can give us an example, develop a new pattern. That is the example for the origination. So far we have discussed the levels of psychomotor domain. In this level, 6 levels, we have got some keywords for each level. They are, for perception, keywords are choose, defects, differentiate, distinguish, identify, isolate, relate, select, etc. Then second level, guided response, keywords are copies, traces, follows, react, reproduce, response. Then for third level mechanism, some keywords are assembles, calibrate, construct, dismantle, display, etc. Then for complex overt response, keywords are builds, calibrate, constructs, dismantle, fastens. Then for adaptation, keywords are adapts, alerts, changes, rearranges, reorganizes, revises, varies, etc. For last level origination, keywords are arranges, combines, creates, designs, initiate, makes, originates. So these are keywords to be followed. Now you have learned about the Bloom taxonomy for instructional learning objectives. Now how we are going to correlate the Bloom taxonomy different levels into our NSQF syllabus, that is National Skill Qualification Frame syllabus, how they are correlating. For that, you know that previously existing syllabus only it is input basis or skill basis only, but NSQF is the learning outcome basis and it consists of some assessment criteria. These Bloom taxonomy domains are correlated with our NSQF levels. That is, 5 levels are there in NSQF. First is domain level is process, then professional knowledge, professional skill, core skill and responsibility. How these levels are related to the Bloom taxonomy? It is shown in the chart. You can go through the chart also, and this process is in NSQF is common for other 4 domains of the NSQF. So then professional knowledge, that is correlated with our cognitive domain, that is like our theory, and that is cognitive skill, cognitive domain is related to the correlated to the our professional knowledge. Then core skill in NSQF is correlated with same cognitive domain. They are, we can say the subjects are Ursa Coalition Science and engineering drawing. This is core skill of the NSQF related to the cognitive domain. Then affective domain, it is only based on emotional based on skills. So it is not applicable to our NSQF syllabus. Then last domain is psychomotor domain. It is correlated with our NSQF syllabus is professional skill and responsibility. This is practical exercises. If you want to study more in detail about this lesson, you can go through our material in online. Thank you for this class. We will meet in next class.